Chapter 61, The Bounty Hunters. Meyer Scorchin was furiously going over the details and trying to keep everything straight as she sharpens her arm blades. There had been rumors of someone in the compound and their comms were hacked. Coming to this world was a mistake. Not only were the Veeks a massive force to deal with, not only were those fucking lean trying the same thing, not to mention those goddess-damned witches and whatever madness was adding on to things, the random fucking idiots who teamed up together to be another pain in the tail. It just went on and on and on in this heap of a planet. This whole world was a mistake, she growls out as she picks up her communicator again. If you don't have good news for me, I will personally shove a laser pistol down your throat and overload it. She threatens and the call-in cancelled. Wretched coward. Lady Scorga. One of her leg breakers begins rushing into the room and slamming into the wall to dodge the plasma shot. It's a Tret. One with very wide eyes, a good sign of her cowardice. What? She howls at her cretinous underling. We found one of the troublemakers, ma'am. Wanted to know if you wanted to deal with her personal like. And you didn't just call me why. I like those calls. They're good calls, she asks suspiciously. There are rumors of someone playing with our comms. Don't want them to try and rescue their friend. They need to be made an example of, boss, the girl says, and Meyer smiles. Good. Good. This is a local recruit with her head on straight. Maybe she can finally turn this mess around. After all, her family is only so big and she needs at least a half-decent thug from this two-credit wreck of a world to bring it properly under heel. Good. Now let's move, she says, walking past the new girl and then growling at her to keep up. She doesn't even know this idiot's name. Just some local trash too scared to do anything herself. Plenty useful in the Scorchin family, but she'll never be sworn in. It's bitch work for life for this one. Boss, the stupid, weak-willed peon says after a short time. What? She snarls at the idiot who flinches. Definitely bitch work for this one. It's this way? She asks after a moment, pointing down a hallway she just passed. Then say so, you idiot. She snaps and marches down. 4 doors on the right. We didn't want any windows in case something... The underling explains as she races to keep up. She has a brain. It's a miracle. Meyer snipes before throwing the door open. She faces down 6 of her girls with their guns pointed right at her and feels a laser pistol press into the back of her head. Good night, the traitor says, and Meyer feels heat, then nothing. Hey, Bike, our kill's confirmed. Meyer Scorchin's got a smoking crater for a head. AZ says into her communicator after a few moments. She had been so sure for the first few seconds that Meyer would simply get up and kill her anyways. But no, a single simple pull of the trigger, and it was over. The woman that she had feared with all her soul for years was just dead. Well done, AZI. Go through her pockets and toss the body in a corner. Make sure that none of you have any blood or scorch marks. Then walk. That's walk, not run, to the docking garage as we discussed. Take the van we told you about and drive out slow and calm. Running will just get you attention, you understand? Her contact asks her and she nods. Is Hugh? He's fine. He's actually in bed right now. No one's told him about what's happening tonight so the poor man wouldn't have nightmares. Just remember to stay calm and careful and you'll see him in the morning, but first you need to get out of there. Our other teams are working even now. The Scorchin family isn't going to see midnight, let alone morning. Now go. Bike commands her and she swallows her fear and relays everything. The girls help her strip down what was once their boss and shove the remains into a corner. They then lock the door and make sure that there isn't so much a drop on them. One of them has to toss her gloves away, and they all walk as a group down towards the docking garage. They pass by several patrols and wonder. They nearly bump into another group just as jittery as they are and start a shootout. Everyone's communicator goes off. It's Bike on all lines ordering them not to shoot their allies and get to the garage calmly and sedately. Bike tells them that there will be 3 more groups they may bump into: the assassins who took care of the other parts of the Scorchin family leadership and stolen their things as well. She, along with her group of 6, all pile into a small air van and calmly, slowly drive out of the garage. Their nerves are a jangling mess as they expect the call tower to address them, but it's utterly silent. Someone has quieted the tower somehow. It chills her blood to even think about it. That someone, this Bike character, spoke with a pleasant and very mild Meccan-Reach accent and had gotten her in contact with her Hugh after taking Big Mama prisoner. Hugh had explained that Bike and his people were helping him and healing him, how Big Mama had kept him drugged and he still loved her and needed her help to make everything better for everyone. Just needed to get Meyer Scorchin to a specific room, then kill her with help. She wouldn't be alone, he'd promised. She had nearly wept at the thought of him being so badly hurt and agreed, but what was going on chilled her to her soul. This was too smooth. This was too skilled. Whatever kind of language Bike came from, it surely meant twisted genius, for what else could it be? To coordinate 5 flawless assassinations with untrained teams, take out the communications and set the loyal guards running in circles. Terrifying. Simply terrifying. She starts to shake as she sees air vehicles swoop in towards the rendezvous point from the opposite direction, where a large tent is set up as a temporary structure. It's drab green and seems to be made up of tiny squares that blur its profile at a distance. The others are nervous and jumpy-looking girls in Lin clan colors. Both sides pour out of their vehicles and slowly reach towards their weapons when a blast of light cuts everything off from the bright interior of the tent. A single figure is there holding the flap open. A powerfully built Tret man in pitch-black armor with a skull and bones motif looks over them all. "Defectors of the Scorchin and Lean, welcome to the winning side. Come on in. I've got some snacks and drinks. We can talk about your future as well as let you all know what's going on, who I am, and any other questions you've got," he says before letting go of the flaps and walking inside. "Come on, we're all friends here." Inside the tent, there's a table with a great number of snacks already out as promised, and jugs filled with water, which strikes her as somewhat odd. Why would it just be water? One of the Line Clan traders pulls out a bioscanner and goes over everything before having some water and nothing else. "Now then, who wants to know what?" Bike says as he leans against a large table laden with communication equipment and a large view screen and speakers to the side. "What's happening?" "I am Commander Drake Engel, also known as Bike. I organized you girls into decapitating the Scorchin and Lean criminal organizations without any of you being so much as scratched. I'm currently working with the forces that have destroyed and subverted the Veek family. Change is coming to the world, and it's for the better. All of you have helped make it a better place, through ambush and execution within the Scorchin family, and through poison use in the Lean clan. What survivors there are of the oncoming chaos will be invited to join the crew of the Claw, who are in the process of consolidating their power this night. Any questions?" "What was that stuff you had me mix in with their Vertes liqueur?" "It was the same color and poured slowly, but they all died after the first glass. It was horrible." "Ethylene glycol, an odorless and colorless liquid, very toxic. Even my own race, who have an absurd resistance to ingested poison, step very carefully around it, and its more common use as anti-freeze, mostly because it tastes very sweet, so none of the mental danger signs go off when you drink it. Its taste blended with the liqueur, and that was that. You did use all of it as instructed, I hope." "I did. I still have the container," she says, holding out a small vial. He holds out his hands and she tosses it at him with ease. "Thank you. I'll get this cleaned out. Now for you ladies, you have some options now. You see, we owe you a solid. So if any of you want out of the criminal life, now's as good a chance as any. You're all allowed to walk out and be utterly forgotten by the criminal community. You're all still bonded to your men and will be allowed to see them, though they have a new mother in the form of Madam Horny, who will be getting in contact with all of you so you can see them next. So don't throw out your communicators yet. And if we stay in? Azai asks, and Bike smiles. If you girls chose to stay in the game, then you need to know that you'll be sent on some test runs to clean out a few dregs dragging this world down. This is both a quick test of loyalty and combat skill, don't worry. Being able to keep your heads on straight in a dangerous situation is all you need to pass, and you all did that just to get here. And after that? After that, the organization will be helping rebuild the world, make it a better place to live and slowly amass wealth and power without screwing over the people. Build up the wealth until they can live like royalty. That's the plan at any rate, though. There's never any real way to tell if things will stick to the script. There's a lot of hard work ahead, but more respect and less questions if you're doing the right thing. And where will you be? One of them asks. I will not be there. My team and I have been brought in to help for one night. This is my part, and with it, the Scorchin and Lean are no more. We've also got one of our snipers attending to our most powerful Axiom adept who's hunting down Yvette Carbon and Gem Fenil as we speak. They die tonight as well. But they're monsters. That's why they die. Bike counters calmly. They've killed thousands each. Hence why he's out to kill them. He dismisses their concerns. I don't care who she is, she can't possibly win. He can win because he won't let himself lose. Bike stresses the HEs to bring the point across. You're sending a man against those nightmares? That's an uncomfortable revelation. Sent, he's already on the hunt, Bike remarks calmly. But, ma'am, you must have faith. He has skill. He also has knowledge and passion and a righteous wrath. Take it from a man whose family name translates to divine servant of God, there must be faith. Hold it. If not for yourself, then for others. It lifts your burdens and lightens your load. That's not enough. We have to get him out of there, and Azai says before the screen turns on to behold two separate feeds, one clearly from Nightmare of Storms and the other from the Mad Woman of Edges. The Storms is watching as the Edges is bearing down on a Tret man with copper hair and wearing a long coat made of bright red scales. The man turns to face her and deflects her attack with a burst of visible Axiom. Shit. Bike curses as he tunes his communication station. Franklin, you've got a serious problem, they're both there. Thunder Thought is watching from a nearby position even as Butcher Bitch is attacking, do you read me? I read you, Bike, loud and clear, Franklin says, and it's audible from the equipment and the screen twice over for a haunting triple voice. It just means I get to have all my fun at once, he says with a bright smile that's somewhat demented,